Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. This program is suitable for general viewing.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A very good evening. Welcome to Live Real Talk. It's exactly 19 minutes past 8 o'clock. We are 4 minutes late. Apologies for that because of some few technical hitches. My name is Feisal Kassim and it is an absolute honor to have you here. And tonight we'll be talking about yet another important topic, and that's why you always tune into Live Real Talk every Thursday from 8:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. because of such important, amazing conversations that are shaping how we live our life, how we move from day to day, from the time we wake up to the time we go back to bed, how we think, how we see things, how we approach every situation that we are faced with. That is what we are here to do. We are here to try and clear misconception, to try and separate the wheat from the chaff, and to try our level best and see what can we do to have a better society. So tonight we'll be talking about building peace through interreligious and intergenerational dialogue, not the political one that you've had people talking about, the conclave and all those things. No. We want to build peace through the different religions that we are living here in this country and the world by extension. And how do you do that? Through intergenerational dialogue. Joining me to have this amazing conversation tonight, two amazing people that one I've known for a very long time, the other one I've just met today. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you, vibes on vibes, and I promise you, you are going to love her. Our senior Hassan Kulundu and Alice Wangari. Lady and gentlemen, karibuni sana.
Asante sana. Thank you very much, Professor.
Right?
Good.
Welcome. I mean, it's always a pleasure to have you. So tonight, I mean, jumping straight into it, 21 minutes past 8 o'clock. Hassan, what does this building peace through interreligious peace through intergenerational dialogue, what exactly does it mean to you?
What it means to me is that right now the country has got so many balls in the air, so many things. First of all, if sometimes you go through social media, a number of issues, you find that things are not so good. Let me take, for example, that for me, let's say like my generation, is very worrying. We have never seen that before. The other day, right now, the matter is in court, of course, but at least that one we know. For the first time, we had people who are from the disciplined forces. They have formed a certain movement. And they are speaking things that we have never heard from the disciplined forces. That one tells you one thing that from my generation and this generation, we have never seen this kind of thing. And we think that we need a serious way of understanding. That's one. Two, I also saw another issue of what I can call intergenerational. The other day there was some function in some school in Nyanza, I think Gorosare, where teachers were dancing
on
the stage. Okay?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
You see, for those teachers, you have to understand that these teachers are from a different generation. Even the students, they didn't find anything wrong with that, because that's their daily meal. Those who are finding offense in that are the people like you and I, or maybe my generation. So I'm told you have been summoned at TSC. I'm sure they've been summoned by people of the age of 60 and above to come and explain why they are dancing that way. But to those teachers, and even to those pupils who are watching, that is normal. You get the point? Now, if you try to punish those teachers for that issue, isn't it? The people say that we are not offended by that kind of dancing, because it's the thing we see every day. That's normal for them.
Which is quite unfortunate, right?
Yes.
Another
issue that I also saw the other day, I was watching in social media. I think it's a club. Muslim girls, well in their hijabs and everything, isn't it? Partying. Horrible. I could not imagine that in my generation, you could wear a hijab, even that kind of whatever, and you are in a club. It doesn't make whatever. Now, for these people, and even the Muslim girl, Muslim young girl, it's normal, okay, it's okay with them. Now, that one tells you one thing. The understanding, the religious morality that we grew up with, the other generation grew up with, is not the same as
The one that is currently being displayed.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So now that's why you realize that we need to look at our religious, I think at one point we have to look at our religious teachings, isn't it? And see how do we get them to be.
So basically we say we put religion at the cornerstone and use religious beliefs and values as the moral compass as we are approaching this dialogue.
We cannot put religion at the corner.
Is that?
Religion must not be there, isn't it? But we must find a way of how this generation will find space in the religious teachings. I know it will be difficult, like trying to fit.
So it's for them to find the space. It's for them to find the space in the religious teachings.
Guidance, how to make religious teachings relevant to this generation. Exactly. I think that's what I mean. Yeah.
Interesting. I think it's very important. It's something that I'd like to explain. I want to know how. But again, Alice Wangari, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Tell us about Blue Lotus. What really inspired Blue Lotus dialogue? The word dialogue is being thrown around right now in social media, mainstream media, in political rallies, and I cannot say misuse or abuse of the word, but it's something close to that, adjacent to that. Because we've been talking about dialogue, but in real sense, are we really true to it? So what really inspired the Blue Lotus dialogue? Tell us about it.
Okay. Hello, viewers. Good evening. My name is Alice Wangari, and Blue Lotus was actually formed. It is a forum, an online forum, a WhatsApp channel, whereby I use my life experiences as well as my transformation and joining the Hindu spirituality movement to try and create awareness. Because my Hindu spirituality movement was as a result of me undergoing what is called self-actualization. And that is how I found my true self, and I decided to join Hinduism as a way of understanding the cycles of life. Yes, and therefore from there we create engagements with people from, you know, all generations, trying to explain to them, because in Hinduism we try and decode the psychology of life. So it is like spiritual science, whereby we make people understand why there is suffering in the world. Why do people suffer? Is suffering necessary? What are the steps we can take to alleviate ourselves from the suffering, from the teachings of Buddha? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes, yes, yes. And so from there we also teach using astrology. We use the seasons, the 4 seasons of the year, just to indicate that life is cyclical. The cycle of life is cyclical. It is not linear. Yes, and therefore with those cycles it means that there are various patterns in our psyche that need to be learnt, corrected, challenged, and others to be integrated. And so with that comes in the question of intergenerational dialogues. I take, for example, the Hindu community in this country are big on entrepreneurship. Yeah. And with them, they have this culture of inculcating that spirit of entrepreneurship to their children at an early stage. So what we are seeing right now is that there is a big rift between the people of the previous generation, X and baby boomers, going upwards, with millennials, Gen Zs, alphas, and the betas.
And the betas who are coming.
Exactly.
Actually, they're yet to come, huh?
No, they're actually being born this year.
Oh, yeah. But we've started the Gen Beta.
Yes, the betas have pioneered with this year. So you find that there is a rift that has been created, and I would blame that rift on colonial principles. You know, when colonialism came, it came to upset the way life was ordered in an African setting, whereby there was a lot of integration. So therefore now there was a question of divide and rule. There was a question of seniority that was brought in. The question of religious infiltration. The question of social infiltration through the chiefs. There was the question of political infiltration as well. And all those things culminated into economic infiltration. And so because of that, you find that those parents, for example, those who benefited from colonial education and maybe missionary education, you find that most of them actually ended up having jobs in government.
But don't you think economic infiltration was the cornerstone, or like the whole economic system was the cornerstone of colonization, which then impacted all these other aspects of life.
And by the way, colonialization is not just what was done then. Colonialization continues even up to now. We are colonizing each other.
Yeah, so I'm saying, I think, don't you think then the whole economic aspect, the whole economic ecosystem was at the cornerstone, was the reason, was the foundation why everything else followed? When it comes to political, social, and all these things, was inspired because the reason as to why they wanted to come was, what are the economic benefits they would get?
If you ask me, it first started with the social mindset. They first got into a social mindset through religion and education before getting into the economic aspect. Yes.
But for me, I would say that, well, I will not blame colonization for that very much, okay? Because colonization is basically an economic, it's basically a system of exploitation, extraction, isn't it?
Yes.
And it is not strange to Africans.
To Africans, yeah. Asians were colonized.
In fact, India
was colonized.
India was colonized even colonized,
yeah, even by the Mughali.
For more years.
Yeah.
For more years, even more than.
Yes.
China was colonized.
Yes.
Okay, and it was exploited, isn't it?
True.
Then the issue of saying that, okay, colonization brought in new ideas, I don't think so, because it's not possible that Africans would have been, it does not mean that we were supposed to be static. We were not supposed to. I'm sure we would have evolved.
By the way, and that's a very valid point. And I want to pick that point, marry it with another point that you mentioned earlier on in trying to look at the gaps in intergeneration. And I'm trying to think, because if you look at, for example, the Gen Z's characteristics, these are global things.
It's a global thing, yeah.
The Gen Z's in Kenya and the Gen Z's in America, if talk about entitlement, they're there, all of them.
They speak the same language.
100%.
The things that interest them are not are totally different. Okay, like majority of Gen Z's, many of us growing up, we grew up knowing that at a certain age you'll go to school. After one, you'll get married, you form a family.
So there is a systemic way of living, conventional.
Yes.
For the Gen Z's, maybe marriage is not an
it's not a priority.
Yes. But I shall say this.
And that's the question. So. What really then, what are some of the triggers that are coming in to try, or no, not to try, but rather to disrupt the ways of thinking? For example, when you talk to baby boomers, for example, the baby boomers, they were focusing on employment. Talk to a baby boomer and tell him about a business. If he did not inherit a business from the father or from a colonial master, then chances are very slim they're going to engage into business. The risk appetite is extremely slim. If anything, government opportunities were the most lucrative ones for them. Right?
Yes.
If you talk to millennials, then all the millennials started taking the conventional route of venturing into the private sector. And actually, private sector thrived at that time.
Yes. And yes, it's also because both of historical issues, isn't it? I think that if we talk about baby boomers, I'm not very concerned, but I think we are talking about people who are born post-World War. World War II.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that generation was born post-World War II.
Yes.
You look at the generation of World War, those are people who suffered a lot, okay? They'd seen the war and whatever, so they were really hardened people. The people who are born post the Second World War, they are called baby boomers because of one thing. Life became easy, isn't it? Especially in Europe, when we talk about the American, also called the Marshall Plan. A lot of investment was done in Europe for the reconstruction of Europe after the
stabilization of the whole American continent and Europe continent.
Yes, so they never experienced the difficulty. So they grew up in a lot of opulence, isn't it? Systems are okay because it was an issue. It was a period of reconstruction. You get the point?
Yeah.
Then after that, the children they bore, I think what you call, they call them the General X, isn't it?
Yes.
They grew up with that sense of that this is something we must preserve, because if you make a mistake, you lose
may
it.
Go back to
So that's why General X, like my daughters, blame me, thinking that we are very conservative.
Yes.
And it's because of one thing. It's because that fear that you might slip back into it, whatever. But again, I shall tell the Gen Zs, even as we were young, we were that age. People forget that.
But again, the challenges you had at that time and the challenges right now are very different.
Yeah.
Which
Even
is
the
very
challenges that
dynamic.
Gen Xers had
Yes.
and the millennials had
Yeah.
Yes.
are worlds apart.
Exactly,
that I
and we
agree.
cannot use their own systems
Yes.
to challenge the
That
challenges
I
that we are
agree, yes.
facing
Yeah.
now.
That I
Yeah.
agree. That I agree. Every generation has got its own battles to fight.
Fight, yes.
And they fight the battle with the unique features and weapons that they are at their disposal.
At the time,
So,
correct.
yes.
So for me, I would say yes, fine, let's proceed. But let's put that at the religious angle. Let me talk about Islam, because it's our religion, understand.
Yeah.
See, Islam is a way of life.
Yes.
It's not just a religion. It's a way of life, because Islam talks about everything.
Yes.
From science to even how breastfeeding, everything,
That's
conception.
yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing that is happening now that the Quran has never talked about.
That's true.
It's there, isn't it? What we simply need to do is to go back to the Quran and relate to what's going on right now with what the Quran said. It predicted all these issues, for instance. Remember that Islam is the only, the first religion to be what you call heliocentric. Other religions are geocentric.
Yeah.
The earth is the center of the universe. But the Quran says, you know that the earth is one of just a small component of the,
Part of the universe, yeah.
So
Yeah.
a small component of the universe. So because of that, we go back and see. So the thing that this generation is talking about, there's nothing that Islam has ever talked about. You simply have to go back to it, because the point I'm trying to say is that majority of Gen Zs think that religious teachings are irrelevant to them right now. No, still very much relevant. And that's why you're saying...
Again, Hassan, on that point, I think something that has really been disturbing me, then Islam is a way of life which is timeless, regardless of the generation.
Regardless of generation.
But at the same time, there is a way that Islam, the way it was presented, it was made to be relatable. But the reason as to why Gen Zs are not finding, a number of them, not even, Gen Zs are better. Have you seen alphas?
Yes.
It's worse. It's because the way it's presented to them. You know, we're moving into a fully technological, fully scientific world.
Yes.
And the scholars that we have right now do not comprehend and to pick the scientific aspects from the Quran to be able then to relate to people.
Exactly.
For me to further explain my point, we just need to look at the wonders in all these different generations. So the Gen Xers, where you guys fall, your wonder was in the media.
Yes.
The fact that you could hear the news, you could read the news.
In fact, my generation, I'm X, isn't it?
Yeah, you're Gen X, yeah.
Yes. My generation,
Yes.
Radio.
Yes.
Radio was the most...
You guys would gather around a radio,
Yes.
and listen to the news.
The radio was very powerful.
Rumba.
Yeah, but again, one thing you need to realize
Yes.
is that with all due respect, at that time, during that era,
Yes.
your intelligence and access to information was depend and pegged on the intelligence of the presenter.
Yes. Okay. Because
That's the
the
information.
presenter was also almost the same generation.
Yes.
Right now we're talking.
So he had the
Faisal,
information.
we were talking about
An example.
Let's say right now we're
Yes.
talking about AFCON. Today, Harambee Stars is playing, isn't it?
Yes.
People are watching it on television.
Yes.
Others are watching it live, isn't it?
Yes.
During our time, I could visualize Harambee Stars playing.
From listening to the radio.
Radio. Ali Salim Manga.
Yes.
And I remember one of the most tense matches. I was not present. We were not present in Nakivubo.
Yes.
In Kampala.
Yes.
When Harambee Stars played Uganda Cranes. A very tense match. Where that day even JJ Masiga had to leave class because that time he was doing his final exam at the School of Dentistry. He finished the exam. He took a flight at Wilson.
Yes.
Landed in
Entebbe.
Entebbe.
Yes.
He was driven to Kampala and he joined the match after halftime and he scored the winning goal.
Wow.
But you could see the tenseness, isn't it? All of these things we were listening on the radio.
Thank you. So the point is this, that I want to pose now the question to both of you. So if you look at the wonder at that time was the radio and the newspaper.
Yes.
So your access to information was pegged on the intelligence and the information of the writer,
the
and
editor,
the news presenter.
News presenter, yes.
That's why the presenters at that time were very popular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mambo Botella, Ali Salim Manga, Fred Arocho, to mention, but you know the veterans that we have, right?
Yeah.
And then now we came to the millennials. And the wonder of the millennials was the expansion of media and the birth of digital media.
Digital
Yes.
media, yes.
Yes. And that's my generation.
The internet.
That's where we are.
Yes.
That's our wonder.
Let me
That's
just
your wonder.
interject a little bit. Let me interject on what you
don't
said
forget
about...
that, don't forget that even the wonder that you're talking about, the internet,
Yes.
you are not the creators. The generation that you despise,
Yeah.
we are the ones who had to go we are
But
the
we
ones...
built
We're not
upon it.
despising.
We built up on
Yes,
it.
we developed it. Yeah.
Yes. So I just want to interject on what you said about them, being dependent on the intelligence of the presenter,
The editor,
and the writer.
Yeah.
Remember
And
that
the writers of the books.
Yes. Remember that as at that time we only had one media station which was state-owned.
Yes.
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 So that means that their psyche was shaped by the state.
Yes.
And that's how they were turned into,
Zombies.
people who are state
Adherents.
compliant. Exactly.
Adherents.
Yes,
Well,
yes. And that's how, we bring in the aspect of conventionalism.
Yeah.
Because the state actually, crafted their psyche towards conventionalism.
Great.
Yes.
Okay.
But now with the diversification of the media, there were different opinions. And there was also the expansion of the democratic space.
Thank
Remember the Sabasaba of 1990?
Yes.
Yeah. So most
were the ones in that one.
millennials
But
are
they were also
actually
Sabasaba.
within that. They are actually within that.
Actually,
that
the early
bracket.
millennials, not everybody,
Yes.
the early millennials,
Yes.
right? And the Gen Xers were at their prime,
Yeah.
and the millennials were rising.
Exactly.
So I want to build a picture here, right? So yes, the Gen Xers, you started the whole advent of expansion of the media.
Yes.
But again, at what time did it flourish? During the
flourished
millennials
in the
phase.
millennials
Yes.
The
phase.
Gen Ys,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then the Gen Ys now, yes, took media, expansion of media.
Yeah.
It is during the millennials era that we saw KTN coming up, NTV,
NTV, yeah.
Citizen,
K24.
K24, and as though that is not enough, we saw now digital media.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yes.
Yes.
Comes to FM now, radio FM.
Yes.
FM.
Radio
Yes.
it went from
GOK.
It came from
VOK.
AM.
Used to have AM.
Yes.
Amplitude modulation.
Yes.
Short medium wave.
Yes.
Now it went
Night
into
FM.
Frequency
FM.
modulation.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
Yes.
my point is this, right? So the expansion of media was the wonder of the millennials.
Sure.
Now the millennials started something, which again, apparently it's traced back to also the Gen Xers. The millennials started something, the artificial intelligence, which is now flourishing
Yes.
with the rise of Gen Zs.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And the Gen Zs have also started something, the robotics,
Yes.
which is going to flourish with Gen Alphas.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, here's my point is this. We see the world evolving in a certain way.
Yes.
Every generation has their wonder.
Yes.
Every generation has their magic, has their moment. But how then do we find a foundation, a solid ground, something that will remind us, hey, at the end of the day, you're human. There is blood flowing.
Yes.
We need to talk. We need to stop fighting. We have a world to live in. We need to prepare for the hereafter. We have a country to protect.
Yes.
What is going to be that thing that will hold us down and remind us of these values?
I can say one thing.
Tell me.
Our religions, I think the religions that I know of, all of them talk about dialogue. Okay? I think somewhere in the Bible says that people, where 2 or 3 are gathered,
Yeah.
they should elect a leader among them. That's Islam, isn't it?
Yes.
And then whenever you have got differences, come together with dialogue.
Yes.
It's in Islam. It's in Christianity. I believe Saimata here.
We are going to hear it.
Yeah.
We are going to hear
I'll
it.
tell you a few stories about Hinduism and
Yeah.
how dialogue is conducted.
Yes.
Yes.
It's there, you know.
Yes.
There's no religion that has never spoken about has never attended whatever dialogue. So you need to talk. You need to talk. You need to talk. So I would say that if we go back to our religious values,
Yes.
it's religious values that has taught humanity on how to solve disputes
Yes.
through peaceful means.
So we should basically get our compass on that.
Let's get back our compass.
Base it on religion.
Our religions have it. They have the
Beautiful.
solution.
Beautiful. Alice, Wangari,
Okay.
tell me.
Now, I'll tell you a short anecdote from Hinduism. And I borrow my persuasions from the marriage of the divine masculine and divine feminism called the Mahashivratri. So during the Mahashivratri, Lord Shiva was going to seek the hand in marriage of his wife Shakti. So when he went, the first time he went, he was accompanied by his friends. You know, for a long time he was meditating in the Himalayas, and therefore he was a bit untidy. And so he was accompanied by his friends who were demons called devas. He was accompanied by wild animals of all kinds, from snakes to monkeys to lions to, you know. And by the way, all of those have a specific significance in Hinduism. There's a lot of animation in Hinduism, I must say. So that time, the first time when he went to the parents of Shakti, they did not allow him. Why? Because he had not attained self-actualization. He was untidy spiritually. So he was returned again, because I remember even the mother said that this is not what we were expecting. She lamented. She said, no, we are being given the short end of the stick. So she returned him to go and meditate further and raise his consciousness. And then he went a second time. So when he went a second time, he was allowed to see the bride, but he was told, no, we have structures here. You do not see the family without going through the patriarchy, the patriarchal order of this spiritual side. So he had to go and negotiate with the two brothers of the bride, who is Brahma and Vishnu. Brahma is the creator. That means that he was willing, he actually committed to start life anew, because he had attained his level of self-actualization. Vishnu is the protector of righteousness. That means that whatever lessons he had learned during his meditations and trials at the Himalayas, he was willing to perpetrate the same for the generations to come and to preserve the righteousness of the gods. And those three now, he actually joined the two brothers, so he became the third. So there is now the patriarchy of three in Hinduism, which is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva.
Wow.
Yes, so in Hinduism, dialogue is allowed, but there has to be some sense of equilibrium in terms of each party must undergo what we call introspection. They have to see how much they have contributed to the harm. And then they have to assess themselves and see what are they willing, you know, some kind of concession. What
accountability?
Yes, taking accountability, exactly. So until we get there, then dialogue is not meaningful, because it is going to be an avenue for pacification of the victim. So where do you drive
the accountability from? Because, I mean, in Islam, Hassan will correct me, Sheikh Hassan will correct me if I'm wrong, there's a sense of accountability is enshrined in the Quran itself. When Allah says, Hassan will help me translate this, that every human, right, knows, like we know ourselves. It's like looking yourself on the mirror.
Yes.
You can lie to everybody, but you cannot lie to yourself. Right?
Yes.
So in Islam, the whole aspect and sense of accountability is enshrined and founded and stamped in the Quran. So in Hindu, this equilibrium and accountability, where is it domiciled?
In fact, in Islam even says that Allah or God will not change people until they change themselves first.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's why
Yeah.
that's why the issue of dialogue comes in. For if you want God to help you,
Yeah.
start by helping yourself.
I agree with Mr. Kulundu here, but again, in Hinduism, we actually talk about self-introspection. That means that you have to sit alone and, you know, take self-accountability.
Kujita mkutano.
Kujita mkutano ndio hiyo. And then you see, there's another thing in Hinduism whereby there were ages. So there was the Satya Yuga, there was the Treta Yuga, there was the Dwapara Yuga, and then there is Kali Yuga. And all those ages actually signify the presence of evil in different dimensions. So in Kali Yuga, it means that evil and good exist in one person. But in Treta Yuga, which was the first one, evil never existed in the world. It was exorcised. It was the beginning, the golden age. But now we are in the iron age.
But I think all of us agree one thing, Wangari, at the end of the day.
Yes.
That human beings, the way we are created, whether you pursue Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, or you don't even practice any, there's one thing that makes us common as human beings. We are social beings. What Aristotle says that rational beings.
Rational beings, yeah.
And we are social animals, okay? You cannot exist
in isolation.
in isolation.
Yeah.
We cannot have that Robinson Crusoe
Can I
and the fact that we live, the fact that we live together,
yes,
depending on one another, and we have got competing interests, the only thing that makes us whatever is what we are able to communicate and talk to one another.
Now, Mr. Kulundu, I didn't say that we live in, what is it called?
Isolation.
Isolation, okay. Now, that the aspect of kujita mkutano is also in Catholicism, when you are saying your penance. The the act of contrition in Catholicism.
Catholicism, even in Islam,
Yes, the act
there
of
are
contrition.
places where you need to
Introspect,
exactly.
For instance, they tell you, Allah says that if you want to appreciate Allah's mercies, isn't it? Sit down, look at yourself, look at where you came from, and where you are now. You will appreciate Allah's mercies, because you know that you have really improved from where you are.
Yes, yes.
So that's introspection is there. So at least we agree that at the end of the day, we go back to our religious teachings.
Correct.
Do we then develop a common vision and say, you know what, as human beings, and this is where this is the direction that we ought to take. This is the life we ought to live. This is how we are supposed to be. Yes, we have the religion as a foundation, right? That will bring us all together, that will remind us, hey, we are social beings, that, hey, we're supposed to do this, hey, we're supposed to do right by this. But over and above that, right? So for the Abrahamic faith, there's one thing that is very common in terms of the vision and the direction, that all of us are going to die, and when we die, it's a matter of a temporary separation of our body and souls.
Yes.
And once you're buried, it's back. And after that, when the
life.
trumpet is blown, you're going to be resurrected. And we're going to be held
accountable for.
Right? So the aspect of the afterlife, as the vision, sort of holds some people grounded. Not everybody, but holds some people grounded. Were it not for the accountability that I have to be on the day of judgment, I would have done a couple of things.
Exactly.
And so would Hassan. And so would even some Jews. And so would even some Christians.
In fact, that's why I tell you, the beginning of wisdom is the fear of God.
And the fact that you're going to be accountable for your actions on the day of judgment. So then the question is, Alice, particularly, so how do we then rope in, say, Alice and the Blue Lotus? Come, let's create this vision.
Okay.
Do you believe in afterlife?
Well, for me, I believe that the afterlife is already here with us. And that's what Hinduism teaches.
Reincarnation.
You know, Hinduism teaches about reincarnation. Yeah, by the way, there are various stages of reincarnation. So in Hinduism, and that's the reason why most of them go vegan, is that you initially begin as an animal. And it is said that most things that are done by animals, because they are beings of lesser consciousness, they are often forgiven or, looked apart.
They're never held accountable.
Yes. So you start as an animal, and then you graduate. In the next life, if you learn your lessons as an animal, in the next life, you reincarnate as a slave.
So
then from there, there are like 4. So from being a slave, you become a merchant. From being a merchant, you become a ruler. From being a ruler, you become a scholar. That's the highest level of consciousness. Yes, and then after that, now you become a spirit guide when you transition from the body. But life is cyclical.
So you become a spirit guide?
Yes, you become a spirit guide.
How?
Like a saint in Christian terms.
So you won't be alive, you cease to be alive?
You know what happens actually is that because of that cyclical nature of life, you find that when you die, your spirit does not, vanish somewhere. It looks for another existing body. What is called a body host. It's called a soul walking, actually, in spirit science.
So it's a soul walking?
Yes, it's a soul walking.
With sort of a dead soul?
No,
a body
the soul doesn't die. So a body like yours, okay?
Yes.
So if somebody dies, so that soul will come
So what's
to
the
you.
end of that soul?
It's like
In Islam, the end of the soul is either hell or hellfire.
No. For us, heaven and hell are here on earth. And that's why we are guided by the rules of karma. So,
Whatever
do
you
right
do will
by
come.
people, yes. Do right by people, it will come,
It
back,
will
to
come
you.
back to you.
And if you want to reduce your level of suffering, be conscious. Do right by people. Do right by nature. Do right by the Creator.
okay. At least we agree.
Yeah.
Somehow, at one point. Yeah.
Yes. So
Do
for
right by the
us,
Creator.
yes. So for us, we are mainly guided by the laws of karma, not the laws of the land necessarily, or the laws of what? It's just the laws of karma. Karma
Kigonga
is
mtu
your,
kagongwa pia
yes,
wewe.
yes. So karma is just our discipline. It is our regulator.
But still, I think it's still talking about, even the karma talking about accountability, isn't it?
Yes,
You'll
yes.
be held,
Yes.
circumstances will make you be held accountable
Yeah.
for your actions.
Yes.
Isn't it?
See, basically, for me, I've compartmentalized it in my mind into three, right? So we have the beginning of life where we differ a little bit. Because for Islam, it's straightforward.
Very
You cease to
clear.
exist. You existed way back. Right now, after that, cease to exist. Exist on earth. After that, go in the grave. After that, you go to either heaven or hellfire.
Yes.
After the day of judgment. So, for Hinduism then believes life is cyclic.
Yes.
So this,
And everything is just here.
so you
Yeah.
just
No,
reincarnate, reincarnate.
there's nothing after.
So basically, the what I'm getting is that here, the middle part, we are together. The
Yes.
beginning, we are not together. The end,
then,
no difference.
but here,
But on the process, we are the same.
we are the
Yes.
same.
Yes. Yes. We are the
And
same.
at least
actually.
we agree that there's a powerful being somewhere
Yeah.
Yes.
who is in charge of everything.
Yeah.
100%.
What even scientists call the super, whatever. If you look at how the universe is, there's at least there's a mind
The
somewhere.
Big Bang Theory. Yeah.
At least you see this order, isn't it? And that order must, they're not just, it's not haphazard. Somebody is in charge. A certain being is in charge.
They call it the hidden hand.
Yes.
So on the process, we are the same.
Yes.
Yes.
Because you believe in values because of karma.
Yes, because
Do
of
well
karma.
by people because
Yes.
it will come back to
Yeah,
you.
the law of cause and effect.
Yes.
Yes.
But again, the Abrahamic faith believe you do good by people because you're going to be held accountable.
Yes. And
So what I'm getting is that you do good by people.
Yes.
But also, I think at the end of the day, also say that do what to others, what they want you to do
And
to
to
you.
Yes,
yourself.
you
It's the same
exactly.
thing.
Yes, yes.
And
yes.
when you do that, of course, I think
Yeah.
even Christianity, Islam talks about the same thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Love your neighbor.
You know, the only difference is the levels of consciousness. So perhaps what I may perceive as good is not necessarily what my neighbor may perceive as good. So that is where the distinction comes in.
So where do you
and that's where the
derive?
conflict
Where do you
comes in.
derive it from?
I think it's more on the level of consciousness, and for Hinduism, we usually quantify consciousness through the episodes of pain, the episodes of torture, because we believe that souls grow, consciousness grows through torture and pressure. So the more a soul is pressured, the more, it's just like gas, the more you concentrate gas, it will need to expand more and escape into more accommodative spaces. So the more a soul is pressed through torture, through pain, then that soul is going to, learn from that pain and see that it is good to, make other people comfortable and do right by them. But on top of that, I want to say that besides religion, I think there is also space for the sociological aspect of this country. How is our sociological values, how are they anchored to ensure that we live in a just, equitable, and more cohesive, community, society, Yeah, because the society is the basic, platform for supporting of life, for equity, for justice, before we go to political order and economic order. So the social aspect needs to be taken care of. And how do we take care of it? Right from the individual level, then we go to the family level, then we go to the community level and the religious level. Because that is even borrowed from the theory of the origin of the state, where you talk about the values of sociological jurisprudence by Jacques Rosio.
Hassan.
Yes. Well, I'm in agreement, at least.
Yeah.
We go back to at least how do we, when we come back to Kenya now. When I look at Kenya, where we are going, coming 2027, if nothing is done, we are headed to an explosion, a clash, isn't it?
Fact.
We have got people who have got a certain belief, the Gen Z, isn't it? They are only listening to themselves. They don't listen to anybody. But we are saying we also have got up. Let's say like the political class also, who are saying that no. Even you, we are here. We are not going anywhere. So we have got what we call very tough positions.
Polarized.
So we don't know how do we bridge these gaps. We cannot give up. In my view, the religious community, the religious leadership, religious morality, religious guidance is the one who's going to create this gap, to bridge this gap. And we can talk. Let's talk. It's true, we must, and I agree with the grievances that the young people are putting forward. It's true. But the young people must also understand that you don't just
wake up and expect a change, an overhaul at night.
No,
overnight.
it cannot happen.
Okay.
But one thing I'm getting in the interest of time is that very important is that regardless of the generation,
yes,
regardless of where we are from, regardless of our inception and regardless of our future, the processes is one critical thing that we have in common.
Yes.
Which is the present.
The present.
So our inception is the past, our vision is the future that we are uncertain of.
Yes.
The present is what we have right now. And we'd all agree. So the Abrahamic faith, they say, do right by people because you're going to be accountable.
Exactly.
Right? And the Hindu says, do right by people because it's going to come back to you. Exactly. So we all agree on this one.
We agree on that one.
Then can this then be the epicenter of our dialogue?
Exactly. Even the Gen Zs should be reminded that they will be held accountable. If
you ban the streets, you're going to be held accountable.
You'll be held accountable.
Let me say that it's on both ends, because you see the problem why the Gen Zs are becoming agitated is because of the extreme, yes, the extremism, and the attachment that Gen X and baby boomers are, they want to hold on to the status quo.
Funny enough is that we'll find there are some baby boomers and Gen Xers and even millennials, right, who hold different views.
I agree.
From the status quo.
And I think those are the people who need to be propped up,
as
so that
Hassan says,
yes,
these people are afraid. You make a mistake, you'll go back to colonization. You make a mistake, you'll go back to being colonized. They were afraid of that.
No, but I think colonization is now dynamic.
Yes,
it's now dynamic and in very many
But again, you
different
cannot
forms.
arrest the memory they had of their parents working with kipandes, which was traumatic,
very traumatic,
in the current world dispensation. You call it traumatic.
And the mandatory tax regime.
Mandatory
regime. Labor laws.
Displacement of people, right? So you cannot arrest that because it is their experience that they lived the same way we lived our experience right now. Right?
Let me just give an example.
Yes.
One thing that happened in history one time. I think I've heard people in media called the Fourth Estate.
Yes.
That name was coined by a man called Sir Edmund Burke. But the most important, the reason why he coined that particular term for the Fourth Estate, he had been called to give a speech to the House of Commons.
Yes.
I think around 1792 thereabout.
Yes.
The reason why he said that, and it was in his introductory remarks, that over there, since the Fourth Estate, the most important of all, basically his speech to the House of Commons that time was supposed to save Britain from going the way France went, because it came a time in Europe when it was fashionable to overthrow monarchs violently, especially after the 1789 French Revolution. And you overran everything, you burned down everything.
Mind you, the effect of the French Revolution exists until today.
Yes. So it was that way of burning. So the British monarch was the only one remaining. And just that it's the danger of going the same way, isn't it? But Salman said that, yes, change is good, isn't it? But it must not come in a French Revolution. So he actually came to warn the British people of making it fashionable to go the French way. That is good, Because the problem with the revolution that you destroy even the good things that you have built for many, many years, isn't it? And that's why we are saying that we cannot go the violent way.
Yeah.
For instance, we just saw the other day the demonstration in town, isn't it?
Yes.
People's businesses
Were destroyed.
were destroyed, isn't it?
Looted.
Yeah.
Burned
Because
down.
because of that revolution, whatever, isn't it? There's a better way where we can achieve the changes that we want without destroying the institutions that we built for very many.
Which comes back, or rather goes back to what we said. The process that we all agree.
Yes.
Accountability on one side.
Yes.
The other side is the law of karma.
Yes.
One and the same thing.
Exactly.
Can this then be the foundation of this dialogue we're talking about?
Exactly. And dialogue has never failed anyone.
If we put it at the epicenter,
Yes, yes.
will we finally and at last have the so-called intergenerational dialogue?
Dialogue has never failed anybody. Even the other day I was talking to if you look at the Israeli-Palestinian conflict,
Yes.
Israel with all its bombs, carpet bombed Gaza, isn't it?
Yes.
But none of their hostages was released through war.
Thank you.
They have to talk.
I think I'd like to leave it at that. We're already overriding by 4 minutes. Hi, Akiamungu, you guys adjust. The accountability you're talking about. You started 4 minutes late, you have to finish 4 minutes later.
Right.
Give the devil his due.
Yeah.
My name is Feisal Kassim, and that's how we are wrapping it up right here on Live Real Talk. I mean, this has been one of the most intriguing, intellectually intriguing conversations we've ever had. I'm amazed. I'm over the moon, man. I'm over the moon because we found people with such mindset and we found a common ground. Amazing. Do you know how rare it is to do such a thing? It's only Live Real Talk. My name is Feisal Kassim. See you next week, same place and time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Namaste.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.